Welcome into our second summer segment with Buff legend Darian Hagan. My name is Adam Munsterteiger. I'm the publisher of BuffStampede.com on the 24/7 Sports Network. Darian, we're going to rebrand this segment a little bit. The first episode was titled 15 Minutes with Hagan. I mentioned to you, I don't want to be married to a certain time limitation here. We're not going to go a whole lot over 15 minutes ever, but you threw out there Trickeration with Mr. Magic. I got to know, where did the Mr. Magic nickname come from? Am I just too young to know that that was a thing back in your heyday at CU?
You may be a little young, but in high school, people used to call me Hawk because I was, fast to make decisions and quick to get out in front of guys, and guys couldn't catch me. And then once I got to school here and my sophomore year, I did some crazy things with football, pitching the ball down late, hiding the ball in the fullback and pulling it against Texas and going 75 yards and, pitching at the last minute. And Mark McIntosh, he gave me the nickname Mr. Magic.
That's awesome.
Now I have Mr. Magic tattooed on my arm.
Nice. Okay. All right. I see it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I want to get the whole breakdown on the Memorial Charity basketball game that you guys had on campus at CU last week, but it's good to let everybody behind the curtain see kind of how we're going to rebrand the segment. It's been fun to catch up with you. And I think John Snelson has done a good job of going back into the archives, pulling some games from back in the heyday up onto YouTube. And I need to find some time in my schedule here in the coming weeks to pull up some of those games. How often do you go back and pull up memories from CU just to get those good feelings going?
Well, last night I was watching a movie. It's called They Clone Tyrone. So I was watching that. I was watching that movie last night, and it got kind of boring. So I about 10 p.m. I went to YouTube and I looked at Colorado versus Missouri in 1991, the year after the 5 down.
Okay.
And then I watched the 1991 where against Oklahoma, where we had 2 99-yard drives, and the second one being all Russian. So I didn't go to bed till like roughly 1:30 last night. So, those games are addicting, man, and you know the outcome already, but you tend to think, okay, I should have did this, I should have done that. It's pretty cool. You can go back and you can and look at your memories and all that stuff, and the memories are not in black and white; they're in color.
There you go.
So I don't feel that old.
What happened the year after the 5th down game with Missouri?
Well, after that game right there, man, we were fired up. We had some guys that were coming back from injuries, including myself. And everyone wanted to, out on the outside, they wanted to downplay the 5 downs because it was, people say it wasn't, our current team wasn't involved, just a few players were. And internally, Coach Mack, he's one of those guys that he was always burning inside, especially for his alma mater. So he would tell us, 5 downs, they don't care about you guys, and they're gonna come in here and they're gonna try to, get you back, and we can't lose in our house. And then I remember they had a big offensive tackle named Russ McCullough, and his nickname was the Bus. And Coach Mack, he goes, "All right, guys, Russ the Bus McCullough going against Alfred Williams and Canavis McGee." He goes, "Guys, you better bring it, because if you don't, he'll put you on his back and then drop you off at the mall."
That's great. You guys won that football game, right?
Yes, we won 48-7.
Okay. Nice. And going back to the 5th down game, again, I'm too young. I didn't cover that game, but the stories about the field conditions there are legendary. Was that on purpose, in your opinion, with Mizzou and trying to gain an advantage against you guys?
I absolutely believe it's on purpose, because their field surface was sand-based. And in order for you to not make it slick, you have to pack it, and you have to pack it with water. And that field was dry and sand was just moving everywhere. So when we went to make cuts, we would lose our footing because the sand wasn't compact. So only way you do that, knowing that you have the home, it's your field, that you're reliable for injuries, you're reliable for taking care of it. If you don't wet it, what the outcome's going to be. And that's exactly what happened. They didn't wet it, and we had I want to say over 100 slips and falls in that game on offense and defense, because there's no way that team should have been close to us in that game.
For the folks that are new Colorado fans that came on board with Coach Prime, obviously the 5th down game is when Colorado beat Missouri out in Columbia back in 1990 during the national championship season. Darian, did you guys have the wrong? I think I heard that you guys had the wrong cleats, whereas Mizzou was prepared for those conditions. Am I making that up?
No, they probably were, because they knew what to wear on that surface. So I'm pretty sure they had longer cleats than we had. We're used to playing on a surface where it was not sand based; it was just a regular turf field, and we had tennis shoe bottom. So if you got a tennis shoe bottom on a surface where if it's sand based, your tennis shoes and the sand is loose. Your tennis shoes, once you stick your foot in the ground, your foot's gonna slide, and that's exactly what happened.
Were you guys talking about that on the sideline? I know CJ was out there like at quarterback, but were you guys discussing the field conditions as it was kind of happening, or was this something that you guys reflected on looking back at that game?
No, we were constantly talking about it during the game, because we had some opportunity for some big plays and guys were falling. Even me, I had an opportunity for a cutback on the option, and I went to make the cutback and slid and fell and re-injured my shoulder. And that's why CJ came in the game, because I had re-injured my shoulder because of the playing surface. I fell and landed on my shoulder and I couldn't play. CJ had to go in and win the game for us.
How many times in the last 30 years have you and CJ talked about that game?
We talk about it all the time, because him and I were roommates, and I used to always say, hey, man, you better be ready to play, man. You never know what's going to happen. And he used to be like, man, you all right. And then, but no one really knows this. So the national championship game, CJ and I were roommates, and CJ was on the phone talking to his future wife. And so I go to sleep, and right before CJ hangs up, I wake up and I'm like, hey, man, I just had the weirdest dream. He says, what is that? I said, I'm going to get hurt tomorrow, and you're going to have to come in. You're going to have to win the game for us. He was like, man, go to sleep, man. You always saying stuff like that. I said, man, I'm telling you, I just had the wildest dream. I'm going to hurt my knee, and you're going to have to come in and win the national championship for us. Hey, and that's exactly what happened.
You would probably go back and choose not to have your knee get injured in that game, right? But what do you think that did for CJ to have that opportunity and take it and succeed the way that he did?
I can tell you this: he probably had all kind of lumps in his throat once it happened, and then, but knowing CJ, he's that cool customer. He never get riled up. He's always even keeled. He's a hell of a competitor. So I'm pretty sure after the first 2 snaps, being really nervous, his natural leadership ability and natural coolness kicked in, and he got us the victory.
Advancing to current times here, Darian, we previewed the DeVaughn Levy-Hagan Memorial Charity Basketball game on our last show. Mm-hmm. And I'm really anxious to hear how this went. Unfortunately, I was out in Las Vegas still coming back from Pac-12 Media Day, so I wasn't able to attend. But Darian, break it down for us. What were the highlights of the event?
The highlights, I would say everything. The main highlight, which we were trying to expose, or not expose, we were trying to inject kids to, was okay. Sorry about that.
You good?
We were trying to inject kids into mental health and suicide prevention. So what we did was, we took them on the campus tour. We showed them our facilities. We showed them some stuff on campus. Showed them the fair and field. We showed them the rec center. We showed them the Buff Walk and things like that. We just showing them important monuments on campus. And then we took him inside. We fed him, gave him lunch, um, and then after that we had an interactive presentation on mindset growth, and then mindset being fixed mindset and a growth mindset, and we talked about the difference in that. And most people don't know that when you have a fixed mindset, your fixed mindset is pretty much, there's nothing anyone can tell you to change your mind. If you think you're a failure, you're gonna always think you're a failure because you have a mixed mind, you have a fixed mindset. No one's gonna change your mind. And then you have a growth mindset. Your growth mindset, man, you can always change your mind because you have always positive thoughts. So we talked about those things, and we talked about how, if you're ever in a situation where you feel depressed, you feel like you want to harm yourself, your self-talk is not good talk, you want to make sure that you have someone that you can talk to. And I also told them, if you're not comfortable talking to your parents because you think your parents may think you're weak, you're not comfortable talking to your coaches, your teachers, hey, pick the phone up and call me. I won't judge you. I'll pick the phone up and get you the help you need. I said, because, it takes a village to raise kids nowadays. My son, we didn't have the opportunity to save him, but we can save other kids and from this point on. And that's our mission, so the highlights were everything. And then the kids were able to hang out with, multiple athletes from different sports and eat dinner with them, sit and talk to them, and eat lunch with them, and sit and talk to them during the basketball game, things like that. Man, these kids, they were so excited, so happy just to be a part of. The parents the same way. I think that next season, when we do it again, we're going to have we got to do a better job of marketing. We do a better job of marketing, and when I say better job, I mean get it out there earlier. If we get it out there earlier, I think we can probably fill that event center. But we have to get it out there early because no one wants to be in a situation where they can help someone and don't know how.
100%. And just listening to you talk, it seems like the basketball game is just kind of a catalyst for the awareness part of it. Yep. that you're trying to get out there.
Right, the basketball game is icing on the cake because what you do is they get to see their former players that they know, and they get to see them run around and play another sport. Some of them really just play on weekends or noon ball, so they can see them run around and things like that. See how competitive guys are, and we did something different this year. So pregame, we had all the student athletes who were there and former athletes that were there. We had them signing autographs. So a lot of kids got autographs signed, man, and it was huge. They went away with big smiles on their faces. Their parents all sent emails saying how impactful the presentation was. I had two players that I played with. I had James Hill, who James has a. If you call him James Hill, he gets upset because he earned his doctorate degree. So he wants you to call him Dr. Thrill Hill. So you're
Darian Hagan. You call him whatever you want to.
Right. So he got up and he spoke and he talked about different pillars of life, where you come from. You don't have to stay the same. You get to pick and choose who you want to be. This world is a world of freedom, and you take advantage of it. Don't let the system take advantage of you. You take advantage of the system. Don't let the sport take advantage of you. You take advantage of the sport. And that's what all these guys want to do. They all, the women, they want to go play in, the WNBA. They want to play, soccer and professional. And, the guys want to play NFL and NBA, the same way. And only way you can do those things is by making sure that you've been productive in your everyday life. You got to be productive in your everyday life. You got to be consistent in your everyday life, on and off the field. And it all correlate, in my opinion, into something, that you never thought that could happen, but you put all the work into it, and the sky's the limit if you so desire.
Josh Ford won the MVP in the game that I played in 2022, who took home the MVP trophy this year? Did you guys have one of those?
We didn't have one of those this year. We just had a championship trophy.
Okay.
But
Your squad won, right?
I can tell you this: Manfred Moore played his tail off. Um, uh, I can't remember. Can't think of his dang name right now. Scott Van Sickle. Remember Scott Van Sickle? So the game was we're down one with like 9 seconds left, and I told Mefford, I said, "Look, man, they're not sticking Scott." I said, "So you get the ball down low, kick it back out to Scott. Scott gonna hit the three." So that's exactly what we did, and Scott hit the three, and we won the game by 2.
That's awesome. That's great. How did Brian Howell play?
Brian played good. He was every time Brian got
are you being honest here?
Every time he got the ball, he was chucking that thing from 3. and then he would get tired. He would put his son in, and his son hit some key shots as well.
Okay. That's
and
good.
Once his son started playing, every other kid who had a parent out there playing, they wanted to play. So at the point when we hit the 3 to win the game, they had 8 players on the court, and we had 7 on the court. So it was fun. It was really fun, and the kids loved it. The players loved it, and everyone keeps texting me and telling me job well done. The whole event was done. Playing well was done well, and they can't wait to play again next year.
What are your hopes and goals with your charity foundation going forward?
Well, going forward, all we want to do is be able to reach kids. We want to make sure that we can reach them financially. If a kid is having difficulty with a subject, and he doesn't have to be in our program, because we don't have a program where we have kids on a daily basis, but we have people that can help. Within our organization, we have people that we can reach out to that can help individuals. And that's what we want to be able to do. We want to help individuals who are down on their luck, who are having depression, even guys that just need a big buddy, because some kids, don't have a father, don't have a mom. They live in foster parents, and foster parents really don't identify with what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish. Big buddy program, things like that. Just I want to be able to touch the kid wholeheartedly and let him know that just the people that you see on a daily basis are not just the people that you need to interact with, because it's a big old world out there. I look at it like this. I've been around here for so long, man. I've made so many friends at the University of Colorado, in the community in Colorado. But also, I know who I can depend on and who I can't depend on when I go back home to Los Angeles. So you never you're never going to outgrow your network, but you always got to make sure your network is the type of network that is conducive to how you want your life and the people around you to be.
Well, Darian, we're lucky to still have you around. See you.
Thank you.
This was fun. Colorado just broke from summer strength and conditioning. They're going to get a little time off. The Buffaloes players are going to be back for the start of preseason camp here next week. And I was going to ask you a ton about what summer looked like as a former college player and what camp looked like back then. Let's push that to the side. We'll tease the next show. I want to get a full breakdown on what that looked like back in the day. But this has been a lot of fun for me to catch up with you, and hopefully you've been enjoying this, and episode 2 of hopefully many to come.
This is awesome. I love the fact that we're here now in the present, and we get to talk about the past as well, because the past is not going to ever, in my opinion, be able to be erased from the University of Colorado. There's some times where as I get older, I forget some things, but I can always go to YouTube and do a search and bring it back to reality. So it's pretty cool.
There you go. Yeah, there's a lot of new CU fans, and so being able to shine a light on some of the things that have happened in the program in the past, because a lot of people want to reduce CU football to 1-11 that happened in 2022, and obviously those of us that have been around Boulder, you more so than me know how special a place that is and what CU football can be. So I really appreciate you, and thanks out there to everybody that keeps tuning into these shows. We appreciate you, and we'll be coming back again. We're going to kind of preview preseason camp on our next show.